Alright guys, so finally the fuel pump came in. So now we're going to start part 3. We are going to go ahead and install the fuel pump in the tank. And then from here we're going to put the tank into the new skid plate that I have. And then we're going to finally put the tank back into the Jeep. Alright, so I temporarily put this on so that we didn't get any shit in the tank. Let's take it off. Another thing you want to do, these are the clips I'm talking about. Maybe they're easier to see now in the last videos. You just pinch them. You just push them in, just like that. I couldn't get my fingers in here, so I just used the punch, but you get the idea. We're going to go ahead and vacuum this out real quick, just so the seal has a flat spot. This part can be a little bit of a pain in the ass because you have to push down and turn at the same time. The pumps are spring loaded. Anyway, as you can see, there are grooves right here on the tank itself, and then the lock ring has its own little clip or whatever you want to call it, and you have to get that bump past these grooves. So it takes a little work, a little bit of hammering, but you just be gentle, just kind of go around. You'll find the spot that finally makes it click in. Usually, if you kind of go around, you'll kind of get it to twist in. I try not to hit in one spot too much because you'll ding the ring up really bad, but if you just kind of work it in, it'll go in. Next, we're going to take the straps off now. And to do this, you're going to need a deep socket 13 mil. Don't worry about these little rubber caps that are on here. I just use the nut to back them off because these are, they're pretty on there. I haven't been off in a while, so. One strap done. There we go. Alright, for this next part, take the tank, tilt it back. This is the front of the tank, remember? Take these, pull them through just like that. Go ahead and take our tank. Now we can go ahead and take our tank out of the gas tank skid. Oh wow, I was not expecting all that to be in there. Okay. And let's just take a look at the stock tank. It probably doesn't look too bad. It's got some pretty good dings in it. I think that one's probably the worst. The biggest thing is, oh, those are pretty good right there. You can see that bashed in there. Not really worried about the scrapes. It's more about like the actual tank being bashed in, because then it affects the actual, or the gas tank's getting bashed in, because then it affects that. The biggest reason I was going to replace it is not really those, because that's really not that bad. I could have lived with that, but I could not live with it rubbing on my upper control arm. Yeah. And on top of that, I know that this piece right here, like this piece kind of bent from the way it was dragging on everything, so I know the whole thing is tweaked. It doesn't look like it, and the mounts are all different heights, so you can't really lay it on the ground to check. But when I was dropping the tank, if you watch my first video, I believe it is, no, my second video. If you watch my second video on dropping the tank, you'll notice that there was a section where I had to grab the tank and rip it backwards and wiggle it around to get it to drop out. Part of that's because the bolt threads were holding on, but the other part of that is because the tank is tweaked, or the skid plate is tweaked, and so it wasn't coming out of the Jeep, it was holding itself in. So once I got it unwedged, it came right out, but I doubt this would go back in easily. Now I gotta undo all these bolts, take out the packing. Let's get that done. This is a 2-position gas tank, so if you notice, it's got 2 holes up here and holes down here, holes up here and holes down here. What we're going to do is we are going to move this bar to this top hole that sucks the tank up. I have a body lift, so I can suck my tank up. If you don't have a body lift, you just leave it in the bottom holes there. Alright, let's get this apart. Make sure and keep this hardware, because 1, you might be using it depending on your application, but 2, it's really nice hardware, so don't throw it away. There's plenty of stuff you can use it for. The other thing is, it comes with new straps. The reason we had to take the old straps off is so we could get the tank out of the old gas tank skid without scarring the tank up, since those tanks are a poly tank. So let me grab a blade. We'll cut this off of here. Alright, that's nice. Bolts, nuts, doodads. It even comes with clips, so on the TJ, when you take out your fuel filter, you've got to pull the clips out, the Christmas tree clips, from the plastic fenders. So they give you new ones in case you broke them, which is nice. Alright, let's move this out of the way and assemble the front and back half. So here it is, hardware ties. They even give you new zip ties. Okay, now we're going through and working this in. We're contacting the company who makes the skid plate, which is Sign Off-Road. You saw me struggling trying to get this in. These tabs are bent a little bit too far out, and he said, the gentleman I spoke to on the phone said, just bend it. So I have it viced up here, clamped up here just right, because these bends aren't straight, like this piece isn't straight. It's at an angle and then bent up, so that's why I have an angle. So we're just gonna give it a little tap here. He said it's steel, it feels like steel. I couldn't tell with the coating on it. So naturally we're gonna use the brass hammer so we don't mar it. Not like it really matters, but you know, I understand sometimes things gotta fit, not everything's perfect, but this is not bolting to the Jeep side, it's bolting to the skid plate side. I don't really have a problem with doing it, but you know, for the money, this part should fit. I shouldn't really have to do this, but it's not a big deal. Probably just about 2 whacks if I can hit it. That should probably do it. Let's go see how it fits now. Let's see. Still a little tight. Let's see. Okay, so let's try this again. These tabs could be bent a little bit more. This one's pretty good. I'll show you. It's this side. This side could be bent a little bit more. Okay, let me go do that. Alright, I gave it a few more good whacks. That's better. It's still kind of tight, but I think I can make that work. We'll start from one side and go to the other. Just guessing that's the right hole. Alright, again, let's see. Okay, now when getting part of your, when getting your fill line back on this pump right here, you'll notice there's something missing here. We got to get this clip off here. You should be able to also buy these at the auto parts if you broke yours. They're a pretty standardized part. But what you can do is the screwdriver is way too big. There we go. So you'll notice that this piece right here is not on the new pump. This is the lock piece for the piece of fuel line that comes off with the tank when you pull it out of the Jeep. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it off. You can do this very carefully just by slipping the screwdriver in through the back. And then you'll take it, you'll twist it, slip this through the back like here. And it's probably going to take a few times because as you saw when I lifted that up, it clicked the front and back. Ow. There, just like that. And then what you'll do is you'll come over here to your new pump and you'll just take it. Make sure you put it on the right way. There you go. It is that simple. And you'll take your fuel line that came off. You'll take it. Boom. Done. Sealed and good to go. Now let's go ahead and get the tank back in the Jeep. I may have not gone over this, but when you put the pump back in the tank, pretty easy to figure out which way this goes. pretty much has to go that way. Any other way and it won't really work. Alright guys, here we go. So as you saw, gas tank skid is installed. We have a few more things to do, but here it is. Okay, so I went ahead and have the breather line routed. When you do this, make sure and give yourself plenty of room for flex, because this axle is going to flex and this is going to straighten out. So you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of room for flex. All right, let's see if she starts. It's alive! Moment of truth. It's working. So the fix works. Awesome. Just on a side note, I can't tell you how much I hate that our gas station turned into an Arco. They charge you 30 cents every time you fill up. Okay guys, so that's it for part 3. That ends the series. Thankfully, the Jeep is back on the road now, running well until our next mod, which might be soon. Gas tank works great, as you saw. Everything's functioning how it's supposed to. Really happy the way this turned out. Fixing your gas tank for free like I did is awesome, and I'm glad that I was able to stumble upon that fix just by some trial and error, and sometimes that's all it takes, just not being scared to try something to see what happens. So if you have any questions, please comment or let me know. Please thumbs up this video. I appreciate it, and thank you for watching.